good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sunrise Daily today. I'm Chamberlain also.
Indeed, it's Hump Day now. Yes, Wednesday. Very, very close to Christmas. Can I say it's exactly 2 weeks to Christmas? Maupe Ogun Yusuf, a warm welcome to you.
And well, just in case you're wondering, really? Today is December 11th. Amaya Makine, good morning and welcome.
Well, yes, it's December of the same, and so probably maybe having a look at some of these kind of sites, there's no harm in that. It just helps you kind of relax and plan and look forward to this kind of locations. Ikogosi, warm spring. You should allow yourself dream. It's not a bad idea, I tell you guys. Take a look at the skyline we've got for you this morning. I mean, that will, you know, sometimes you need to ask yourself, or we need to ask ourselves, do we actually allow ourselves just take a step back and just cross your legs for a little bit? Because you can't have all the money in the world, really. You can't. You just cannot. Just,
And when you finally have the money, as much money as you want, what do you want to do with it?
Yeah, there are little things like that that we tend to miss because you're always fixated on, oh no, I want to grab this, I want to grab that, I need to grab that. And sometimes, well, look, you might say, if only we've got this system where you have social security system where certain things are provided if you do certain things. But if we don't have that kind of system, it means everybody will just be trying to, I mean, lots of people will be seen trying to grab and grab and grab and amass because they don't know what tomorrow brings or holds. But
you know, no matter what you amass, you can never amass this. I mean, just take a look at it. You can.
Somebody has 753 properties to himself.
Even if he does, it looks nothing like this. It looks nothing like this beauty. This is what the Almighty has freely given us in this country. And, you know, we should just take a moment to savor it and enjoy it and, you know, bask in it. That's what we should do. I mean, look at that. Somebody has taken the initiative to build a water park around this particular area. So you can see that water park there. I don't know if it's functional, but I imagine that this particular season, you know, it should be functional. So this is the Ikogosi Resort in Ekiti State, built very close to the Ikogosi Warm Springs. Very, very iconic spring and nature's gift to mankind, where you have hot water and cold water coming out at the same time from a particular space in a rock in Ekiti State. And people just go there. They say the water is healing, it's therapeutic, you know, and thankfully a number of I think there's a particular bottling company that has gone there to start like a water bottling thing. So that's where you now have Gussie water from. I'm not doing an advert for them, but that is the source. If you ever see Gussie water, you know, anywhere, that's where the water is from, and maybe that's why it might be a little more pricey than other waters. But that's basically, you know, where the source is. So it certainly will make a lot of sense, you know, for you to just take in all of this. You can imagine the amount of oxygen in the air here, given the number of plants. And this is not something that has been man-made. This is something that, as nature just designed it, is still there. We have just gone there to carve out a few rocks and a few, you know, spaces, you know, to make it habitable, to make it wonderful for a family this particular holiday. And I know that it's not so expensive. So if you do have the time and you're still wondering, where can I go? I'd like for my children to experience a Nigerian Christmas. I'd like for them to experience more of their country, Nigeria. Look at that. The highlands and the mountains of Ikogosi in Ekiti State will be an ideal location for that. Ayo, please don't tell me you're saying a movie. Tell me you're saying a holiday spot.
You watch movies and relax too. Maybe that's his own way of...
No.
That's his gift to the world.
And in this particular one, I hope it's not saying... Yeah, a movie can be set here, but please tell me that what you're saying is relaxation as you're looking at it.
Well, what I'm actually saying...
luring me to sleep.
What I'm actually saying this morning is a little different, guys. Because there's something that many people don't even know about Ikogosi as well. It's a place that you can also go hiking. I mean, you talked about the mountains there, Malpe. And so some people who are saying, I mean, you just also mentioned some people say you want to experience the Nigerian Christmas. If you are thinking of going anywhere, I mean, and you're thinking of going hiking, I hear it's a good place for that as well. I don't know why I would want to walk up and down a mountain, but hey, it's good relaxation for some people. And some people just love the idea. And you are dead right when you say that, you know, this is the resort and the warm spring is not too far away. All kinds of myths surround how the hot and cold water came about. One man had two wives, one got angry, turned into hot water, one got angry, turned into cold water. I don't know how that plays out because I don't even want to go into that one, but maybe we ask around how this came to be. But it's just, as you said, Malpoy, one of the wonders that God has created for us. If you're looking for wonders, this is one. Hot and cold water from right at the same source. I can't explain it. If you can, do let us know. But for now, let's just enjoy the scenery. And yes, Malpoy, it's a resort. So who says we can't shoot a movie from here? I'm just saying. Come on, just say, right?
Said it again.
Well, for them to shoot that movie, you need to go to that place because no, we can't actually show you. I mean, that specific point. I know many may be looking to. Where is this? No, this is one of those areas where you need to actually go there so that we don't show. What else will there be for you to see if
we show you everything?
So just
and you know the beautiful thing about this one, many times we're showing you the wonders of nature and we're saying to you, oh, we wish there was infrastructure around it. You know, people should be able to go, and this one, we're showing you the infrastructure that has been built around this particular wonder. It is now left for you to go there and, you know, look for that spring. Because I know it is hidden somewhere in those bushes there. That's where you'll find it. It's not something that is exposed. That's why it's really difficult to capture from the air. But we tell you that you certainly will not be disappointed. And I'm sure that you can see that from just taking a look at this aerial shot.
Yeah. So, we're going to take you through the dailies, and incidentally, it's green because many will say they need some cash to go there. But if there's cash crunch, how will they get there?
Do a transfer.
So,
there's electronic banking.
Okay, we'll take you through some of the dailies this morning. Now, Ayo, go ahead with that.
Our selection of newspapers this morning include the Daily Times newspaper. VP Shettima criticizes UK's Badnoch, highlights Nigeria's global role. The details on the inside pages of the paper today. Blueprint, Tinubu to Tunji Ojo. For ease of visa, passport applications, you've made Nigeria proud globally, says Nigerians are one despite political differences. Batik will ensure automated visa service, others, that's according to the minister. Find the details of that story continue on the inside pages of the paper. The Nigerian News Direct has, under Tinubu, Federation account records 45% revenue growth. That's according to Ramfac. Find the details on page 3. This Nigeria newspaper, alleged 110 billion naira fraud. You must remain in Kuje prison, court tells ex-governor Yahya Bello. Adjourns to January 29, 2025. Fautimi 2 returns to Ekiti Correctional Center in case with Afe Babalala. The details you'll find on page 4 of the paper. The Nigerian Tribune, Reps Southern Caucus backs tax reforms, says ready for negotiation with non-lawmakers. What tax reform bills will do for Nigeria, that's according to the Fiscal Responsibility Commission. Our stance aligns with Tinubu's vision, that's according to Ramfac. Details on the inside pages. Business Day, 11-year metering gap remains despite FG's 335 billion naira handout. It's the big story of the Business Day newspaper this morning. And these are the papers we have for you today.
So you've seen some of those dailies, but very interesting is Tinubu to Tunjojo, for ease of visa passport applications, you've made Nigerians proud globally. So, the front page of Blueprint this morning highlights that narrative about what we've done, how we needed to ensure that agencies, ministries pull together to ensure ease of movement for travelers. Yes, it's a significant one. I mean, this $47 billion fingerprint technology market, it's of course huge and significant, but we only hope that the technology we do have is not imported technology, in the sense that we are the ones contributing to that economic market, to that market itself. Because, I mean, some of the things we read and hear appears as though NIMC isn't authorizing local tech, so government can run NIN enrollment and verification amongst its agents affordably, way more affordably. So some of those things, even NIBs too, all of those technology, what are we doing to ensure that they are local technology? So you don't house a lot of that data elsewhere. That we need to ensure that we build capacity, because we do have, yes, we do have that technology, local capacity, those who can do that. But something that we're going to dig deeper in the days ahead to ensure that what we've been told is what it is.
Well, as you said, there are quite a number of things to look at on the front pages this morning, but let me take a look at this Nigeria. I mean, a lot of things are running through my head taking a look at that particular paper. First, the lead story there, former governor of Kogi State, yes, has been remanded in Kuje prison. And I'm wondering, whether this, I don't know if this case against Mr. Dele Farotimi is going to have any impact on his own case, because I don't know. I'm just wondering.
People will say, "What you see? You see what we told you?"
Because when people start to make comparisons, why was Mr. Farotimi in cuffs and you was not in cuffs? Why would they grant him bail and not grant this one bail? And those kind of, I just wonder if it will have any impact. I think lawyers can tell us, but that's not really what my attention is on this morning. That's just as an aside. The lead story the story I'd like to focus on is this one. FCT Minister decries city center satellite towns disconnect, kicks off 15-kilometer tie road project. So that story is right there for you. We covered that yesterday, and it does appear, all the criticisms people have against the FCT minister, one thing you cannot take away, I've been told is PI, pronounced E-A-I. There's a mistake right there. But never mind. 15 kilometers is what has been started. Just in case you're wondering where PI is, around the Buhari area council of the FCT. There's everything that he's keen on. It is that the satellite towns in the FCT feels development. The satellite towns, they must feel development. I think listening to him yesterday, he was saying something to the effect that the FCT that was started, how many years ago, was started in 1976. By now, we should be talking about 5 cities, nothing less than 5 cities, not just the main Abuja Municipal Council, which is about the only developed city. And there was a plan around this. So you find a number of other government agencies, for instance, JAM, University of Abuja, the Nigerian Law School, outside of the city for strategic reasons. The idea was that development should come to those areas as well as a result of some of the government agencies being there. But we're now beginning to see in the recent past, we're seeing a relocation of some of those government institutions back to Abuja Municipal, depriving those local communities of the development that ought to accrue to them as a result of these government institutions being there. So it's a good thing that, the FCT minister is concentrating on seeing how he can give a very good connection to those communities with the Abuja Municipal District. And also, because a lot of those places also have a lot of farmland, very fertile farmlands around the Buhari area, around the Kuje area, around, you just name it, Gwagwalada, etc. What will it take for us to, do the roads for those places? And even people in the city can say, we own farms in those satellite regions. After all, people in the FCT, they will eat, wouldn't they? So I think it's a good thing that this development is coming, and never mind.
Not portfolio farmers.
No, not portfolio farmers, real farmers. And you'll surprise you to note the number of neighbors you have who actually own farms in these regions, in these particular areas. And I'm hoping that as development is going there, you know, that the estate people will not follow them there. The developers will not follow them there. That will be able to protect a number of lands and say, look, whatever happens, these lands are reserved for farming, you know, in the FCT. If we are able to feed ourselves in the FCT, is it a bad idea? So while the government institutions are there, and while, of course, there might be a demand for housing in those areas, I'm hoping that, you know, we will be wise enough to also know that we should reserve a significant portion of those lands for agriculture. Ayo.
Well, thank you, Maupe. And I think in a way, what I'm interested in this morning is related to what you just said, particularly when you talk about agriculture. Most of agriculture expectedly happens in the rural areas. And we've been talking about rural electrification since the days of yore. Question is, how far so far? The front page of Business Day newspaper this morning draws our attention to this concern that the federal government has spent 335 billion naira to close the 11-year metering gap, and that gap still remains. I mean, we all remember, we've talked about it quite a number of times on this program, the different metering initiatives that the federal government of the day had come up with. The Meter Asset Provider Initiative was introduced in 2018. Then we had the National Mass Metering Program in 2020. We also remember that the seed capital of 200 billion naira was invested to facilitate the Nigeria electricity supply industry under that NMMP of the federal government. And we also understand there have been ongoing interventions of the Presidential Metering Initiative. Several other initiatives come up with that. The question remains, how far so far? Yes, the law, the constitution now allows states to generate electricity themselves, and we see that a number of states are already coming up with infrastructure around that, soft infrastructure and hard infrastructure perhaps also around that. But then, who's going to answer questions around this 335 billion naira that has been spent without anything to show for it? We understand that recently also the federal government said no one should pay for meters. Yet, if you do not pay more than 200,000 naira for a meter, you don't get it. So here is perhaps a call on the federal minister, the Minister of Power. So let's see what do Nigerians need to know? The National Electricity Regulatory Commission. What do Nigerians need to know about this again? We need to hear that, okay, this is the situation because people still get those crazy bills that they were getting in the 70s. I thought we had gone past this, but here we are, right there on the front page of Business Day newspaper. Maybe if you read the details, you get some more perspective. That said, let's take a short break, and when we return, our conversations begin.
All right, welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Well, this morning, as you've seen there, we've got Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. He is the chairman of ICPC and former Attorney General of Jigawa State. Good morning. Thank you for coming on today, sir.
Good morning, Chamberlain. Good morning, Mafia.
Good morning.
Well, there's just a lot about this because sometimes when people hear ICPC chairman,
Yes.
and then some see you know, different people have different perspectives depending on what they're doing and where they are.
That's true.
Citizens will feel, yes, get them, make sure you deal with them.
Yes.
But some others behind the scenes who are there will say, okay, well, let's see. better stay away from our side, you know. But talk to us about your role, your position. How do you feel as the chairman of ICPC in this country? Because sometimes it looks as if we were saying, yes, let's fight corruption. And at the same time, it also looks as if, well, I'm not sure we really want to do this. What goes through your mind as the chairman?
Good morning, Chamberlain. Really, as the chairman of ICPC, I know that is a very heavy burden on me because the role given to me is that to lead an anti-corruption agency, which has the responsibility of prevention and also enforcement around issue of corruption. And if you look at the challenge of corruption in this country, it has been with us right from colonial times up to this time. I don't know whether you were able to read the Fulton Sutton Committee report and the Justice Coker report. You will see that from those reports, it was clear, even during colonial time and thereafter, that there were challenges of corruption. There were allegations of diversion of public funds, and all these issues that has been bedeviling us now. When you come up to the time of Murtala in 1975, he made that decree of corrupt practices. That issue has shown that there was the problem of corruption. When you come down to 1999 up to 2000, that is with the coming of ICPC and also the coming of ONCAC, EFCC came in. So the problem has been there always, and whoever is given the role to chair this kind of commission, Mr. Chamberlain, I want to tell you, it's a very, very heavy task because the challenge is daunting and you need three things like I keep on saying. One, you must be knowledgeable. Two, you must have integrity. And three, you must be courageous. Because the challenge is so huge that if you don't have these three things, you cannot be able to tackle it. So, if I can answer your question, that the task is not easy, it is really difficult, but it is doable.
So, those three things notwithstanding, I mean, occupying that seat now, you definitely will see things differently than when you were not in that position.
That's true.
So for you, from what you've seen, in terms of people's perception about corruption, what do you see? Do they actually say that, well, yes, we shouldn't be doing this? Or do people think, no, this is normal life? What have you noticed about people's perception to what corruption really is?
Yes, people perceive towards corruption in this country. You find that most of things that are not right, Nigerians are looking at it as normal. Because many of things that we are doing, let me give one example. That one thing I noticed is that pressure, most public office holders, even me as chairman of ICPC, I receive pressure. And pressure not only within the government, even pressure from outside. Because people feel like once you are in government, you can do anything. You have unlimited access to fund. You can help them to get job without following due process. You can get them to get contracts through circumventing the procurement processes, and so on and on and on. And if you refuse to hit to what they want, they will look at you as, this person is very difficult, this person is awkward, this person is like, he's not even Nigerian, he's, you know. So I can say that some of the things that we are doing, they have even become a culture. Because it is now normal for somebody to call and say, Chairman, please help me to get employment in so-so agency and so-so agency. Or let me use all the corrective agencies. And if you don't do it, they say, no, you don't want help. So even the help which people are supposed to give the anti-corruption agencies, to be frank with you, sometimes are not coming. But I quite agree with Nigerians, some of the things they perceive, because there are issues that are happening. To be frank, when you look at them, you know that these things are not right. These things are sending bad signal that something is wrong with our system and the processes which are giving opportunity for corruption to thrive in our system.
Do you feel sometimes frustrated, upset, or you think, well, that notwithstanding, this is a job we have to do for this country, so I will keep going?
Yes, you know, I'm a human being. I feel happy, sometimes I feel sad. But when I was given this job, I made promise that I would do my best. No matter what, I would do my best to try at least to bring change to the best of my ability. And to be frank with you, there are frustrations. It's a fact. I can't deny that because, like I said, the pressure that are coming, they are not easy to handle because we are human beings. You know, and also the positive part of it, there are good Nigerians from all parts of this country that are trying to help us. They are giving us encouragement, do this work from the civil society, from the media too, and also from the international organization. They are giving us courage, even within the government, that let us support you, Chairman, to do this work. Because we know that what you're doing for the whole country, not for yourself. So that is the positive argument. But there are frustrations, like I said, the issue of pressure, and also sometimes the judicial process too is another area of concern to us, because we, the stakeholders within the system, sometimes are not helping matters the way we are doing things in court, because it's sending signal to the public that is like we are trying to retard this fight against corruption in this country, which I'm calling on my colleagues that let us look at this issue with patriotism. Yes, we know that we have right to defend our clients, but we need to look at what will be for the overall interest of all of us. And also we, the prosecutors too, we have our own problem too. Also, we need to look at what we're supposed to do, at least change some of the things we are doing. We need to be doing thorough investigation. We're not supposed to be just calling people, let us finish our investigation, have our own facts on ground before we confront you. Because once you finish your investigation thoroughly, when you confront somebody, you even break him because there are facts. If somebody sees, he can't deny them. But when we are fishing for evidence and trying to, people will now be looking at us as like, you guys are not serious, or you guys are not well prepared to tackle this challenge.
Well, I am just a little, looking at the history of the ICPC,
Yes,
and how it has carried out its functions over the years. It seems to have worked more with civil servants, civil servants more. I don't want to put public servants. It looks like the EFCC has been focused more on the generality, public servants, civil servants, even the larger Nigerian society, and then also focusing more on preventing corruption than fighting it or picking it up when it has happened. I don't know what your own strategy, what your approach will be. Is the ICPC restricted just to public servants, or is it something that, can it extend its mandate beyond that particular cadre of people?
Yeah, when you look at the ICPC Act, the way it was, it is largely around public sector corruption. Because the mandate is basically preventing corruption in public sector, and also around the issue of enforcement. So ICPC as an agency, it doesn't have mandate to go into public issues that has nothing to do with corruption within the public sector. But if any crime which happens that public institutions are involved, corruption, the ICPC as well, but it cannot go purely financial crimes that has to do with private individuals. That's not within our mandate.
So what's going to be your own, what area do you intend to really focus on? I mean, what's going to be the laser focus of your own administration? Your predecessor, he strode ICPC with some sagacity, and he made some, pretty good inroads with the ICPC. I think that within the civil service now, there is a certain level of, carefulness, because nobody wants to draw ICPCs. So what exactly will be your own area of focus in terms of trying to fight and stem corruption within our country?
When I came in, I have a policy which I call Care for Impact. The policy is focusing on prevention, but also looking at the enforcement mechanism. Because when you look at the International Convention of Men Against Corruption, the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, as UNCAC, it was towards putting preventive measures. Because if you allow corruption to happen without put in those mechanisms to prevent them happening, it will be difficult for you to tackle it. So, one, I want to ensure that there are practical measures on ground that will minimize the incidence of corruption. If they happen, then we have to vigorously use the enforcement power to check it. And I look at what the former chairman, the previous chairman did, right from late Honorable Justice Mustapha Akambi to the last chairman, Professor Bolajo Asuni. And I consolidate all what they did. Not a single thing they brought in, I jettison. I ensure that all what they brought in, which is in existence, I maintain it. Then now, I will now try to build on it. And in trying to see that we use preventive measures and law enforcement, my key focus is using of technology. Because you cannot fight corruption through traditional means. When you look at the MBS statistics of 2023, it said that why there is a little reduction of corruption is because the federal government was able to use technology like issue of TSA and IPPS. Because once you reduce interface between public servants and citizens, it will drastically reduce bribery and other infractions. So, and even if you are going to investigate, because in technology there are trails, you can be able to follow and look at it. So that's the area where I have been focusing, use of technology, and also the issue of asset recovery. Because that is the key area whereby internationally people are focusing there. Because whether we like it or not, corruption thrives because people want to have gain. And once you deprive them that gain, then you will now make corruption to be less attractive. And also you will use that resources which you deprive them to develop their own infrastructure. So even if you want to go for prosecution, first deprive them with the assets, then you can go after them in a law court processes.
If I could just follow up a bit. Well, we read in different places that some civil servants are frustrating the introduction and use of technology to optimize their functions.
That's true.
Is that okay? Oh, that's true. So what's going on with that?
Let me tell you, and because I had experience, I was Attorney General for 4.5 years. When I was Attorney General, I tried to introduce case management in the Ministry of Justice. It was so frustrating because deliberately you will see that only very people want. Because why? Because they don't want accountability and transparency.
Wow.
Because I can tell you, when I was Attorney General, there were people that they did not complete one task in my entire 4 years I spent. And there are very few people that I can tell you they were overworked. And technology was able to show me, look, this person and that person and that person are not working. So that is why most public servants and civil servants, they will not like technology because they know that technology can be able to measure performance. It can be able to put some checks. So that is why when I can tell you, when I was Attorney General, we have given each and every lawyer in the ministry laptops. And I don't think up to 10% were using those laptops. So government was just spending money to procure all these things. But I know that you will look at that, people don't like it. They don't want it because of the issue of transparency. Because if there is technology, people will not do such a thing they are doing. And with technology, you can be able to track. Let me give you an example. Recently in ICPC, we had made some discoveries about issue of ghost workers. It was technology that was able to tell us, look at this thing that is happening. We discovered somebody was able to enroll his wife, who is not a civil servant, in payroll, his 15-year-old son,
wow,
his in-law. And also there are instances whereby even we discover accounts linked to juristic personalities, that is companies. So, and it is technology that was able to guide us to be able to do these things. So that is why people will tell you that technology is difficult to use, which is not true.
They know what they're doing.
They know. So that is why I want to focus on technology. Because let us move from the traditional way of doing things. At least let us move to the next level to ensure that this is what I call practical preventive measure. Not always these conferences and talks, yes, they are good, but let us move and see that what we put on ground, they are really bringing change for us so that it will minimize the instance of corruption.
So what lessons, I mean, given the frustrations that you encountered as Attorney General in Jigawa, what lessons will you be bringing to bear, given the resistance you saw to technology in a state, at the state level, that you think that you will be able to surmount at the federal level?
Yes, I think I can. Even though there was frustration, but I was able at least to bring change. I made some people to at least shift on here, because one thing I noticed with Nigerians is that when you're a leader, you look at your body language. If you are serious, they will be serious. But if you are cutting corners, they will cut corners. So the best way is to lead by example, is to ensure that what you are telling them, you are not just telling them for the saying sake. You yourself, you are doing it, and you must keep insisting that people must do the right thing, whether they like it or not. Yes, they will be grumbling. Yes, they will call you names. Yes, they will say that they will prostrate. Yes, but wherever you find in this country, in public institutions, there are good people. And I have seen it. There are good people that are ready to help in this fight and also to make Nigeria good. So what I will do is that I will keep on insisting and pushing up to the time that I will bring the change. I will add up to what my predecessors did.
I mean, we here would also like to be part of that, to ensure that people do the right thing.
That's correct.
So whichever way possible, the organization always likes people doing the right things.
Thank you so much.
So if you could talk to us about your project tracking initiative.
Yes.
We understand that that is going on, and there's
Yes.
what's going on with that?
Yes. This project tracking which we are doing currently now, we are tracking projects across the constituencies. These are the project constituency and executive project tracking, whereby we are following projects across the country, which we are doing now from December last year to this year. I know that we have tracked about 1,500 projects across 22 states. And in this project which we tracked, the total value, although we are still doing it, the total value of the money is about 613 billion naira.
Wow.
And also, so far, from what we have done between December last year and now, we were able to save federal government substantial amount of money. We are able to save like over 30 billion naira, which if not because of us, the money might have, yes. And also, if you look at the value of the project, because sometimes when you are tracking, you will see abandoned projects or shady execution of projects. All these things that we force contractors to go back to site. The total value of this project, they are about 29 billion 590 million naira, whereby we force the contractors that you have to go back to the site. And the way we are doing it, we use GPS. Wherever we go, those who are tracking, they will take picture, they will send it to us. We will know that, yes, they are at point A, in so-so town, in so-so local government, in so-so states, so that nobody will feed us with wrong data, so that people will not just sit in their homes and be sending us data that are not correct. You have to send us a picture of where you go, and also that GPS will be able to know that, yes, you are in that place. And we made cash recovery of about 500 million so far. 300 billion so far, and also the asset recovery, because sometimes you will find out that tangible properties, maybe motorcycle, maybe sewing machine, all these things. We have recovered this kind of thing of about total value is about 500 million naira. So, and we keep on tracking. And in this tracking we are doing, we have discovered so many things. One, out of mandate projects, you will see a ministry, let's say, ministry dealing with agriculture, but it is now put in street light. Or ministry of a parastatal in health sector supplying computer. or you will see a project of an agency which is supposed to deal with a particular zone, geopolitical zone, but that project will be executed in another zone. You know, and we have been noticing all these kind of things. And also sometimes you will see that some contractors, they divert part of the money, and we force them to refund that money. We look at the project that did not do it the way they're supposed to. We measure and quantify it and say, okay, you're supposed to refund this kind of money to the government. And why we think this project tracking is important, because it will give government value for money. And also people be able to have good projects that will help them in our life. And also it will help in building infrastructure in this country. So we have been doing these things, and also we carry along the civil society, the media, so that there will be other people that can check us to know that what we are doing have transparency and accountability, so that Nigerians will be able to know this is what we are doing. And we always try to look for people that are in the constituencies to come and see what we are doing, so that they'll be able to know what we are doing. Also, I have to say it, there are members of National Assembly that they will call us. They will say, Chairman, please send me your people to go and see what we are doing, so that we don't have an infraction. While there are those that resist, and there are those that really support us. So that's why we Nigerians, we need to own those projects. It's not for ICPC, it's for all of us. So we need to stand and ensure that all these projects in our own constituencies, in our own areas, we follow them, we ensure that they are executed the way they're supposed to. If those who are supposed to execute, they did not do it, they should report to ICPC. We will go there, because we cannot go everywhere. Like I say, 1,500 projects, we can't track all of them.
Speaking about
at the same time,
contractors.
Yes.
We hear different stories. Sometimes contractors will say, government people will give us this job.
Yes.
But they now ask us to pay them 80% of the money up front. And so if they pay them that money, how are we going to do the job? And they say that's why sometimes you see that projects are never completed. Do you have a system? In fact, sometimes they won't even give you the job if you don't agree to pay them upfront, either 60, 70 or 80%. Do you have a system in place whereby they can blow the whistle anonymously to say, look, this is what these guys are asking. That's why this job cannot go. Do you have that structure?
Yes. The challenge is that there is this issue of reporting anonymously to ICPC. But the one major challenge we have is that there is no legislation on ground. Which, that's why I have always been appealing to National Assembly. They need to pass whistleblower bill that has been pending before them. Why? Because that will give people the confidence to tell you what is happening. Because if there is no that legislation, people would fear. Because they know that something might happen. Sometimes you even receive information, even from the civil servant, they will tell you, in this ministry, this is what is happening. And when you check, you will see it is correct. Sometimes even journalists, they will tell you, Chairman, this thing is happening in this place. And when you look at it, you will see, yes, it is true. Like I said yesterday when I attended the ICR program, there is a journalist who gave us something. When we look at it, in fact, the magnitude of the challenge, it's more than what the information he gave us. So that is why we need that law on ground, so that it will protect people from, attack and all these challenges that will follow.
The Whistleblower Protection Act?
Yes. Yes, we need it on ground. But we have that when somebody supplies information to us, we try to protect his identity, so that we won't allow him to go there. And because of that lack of that law, you will find there are so many challenges. There is one of our people that give us information. He was harassed. In fact, although I can say that the harassment, even us, it is telling toll on us, because in trying to even protect your source, you can never know how the source will, the identity will go on. Yeah. And there's one case, like I said, it has taken my time on trying to resolve it, because those who are involved in that thing, they wrote petitions against me, they wrote petitions against the officials of the commission, all these things.
They started writing petitions against you?
Yes, because yes, that's a
But
fact.
you just resumed.
Because that's has been the issue.
Who are they submitting the petitions to?
Because they will say they will write petition. You know, there is even one that was taken to the Legal Practitioner Privileges Committee. That because I did something wrong. Because these are the strategies. That because instead of you to do your work,
you'll be distracted.
You will be distracted in. So that is why if there is this whistleblower act on ground, it will help in protecting. Because really it is sad to see somebody will give you information, and at the end of the day will end up protecting himself. There are people that gave information which will make recoveries, but at the end of the day, you will see how they have been harassed within this maybe public sector or even outside. Some of them not even harassment. It even lead to issue of even their life. That's even threatened. So that is why we are appealing to National Assembly. Let them pass this whistleblower bill before them. It will help us. It will encourage Nigerians to come because we cannot have all the information. Those who have the information are outside. If they know that there will be protection, they will give us the information.
All right. Ayo has questions for you. Ayo, go ahead, please.
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. It's actually related to a number of things as you have said earlier, and I know that Markwa is going to come for me based on this question. The Auditor General's report of 2020 and 2021 is out, and some staggering revelations have also been made, and I don't know where exactly this one is coming from. But the information has it from those reports that contracts worth 167.6 billion naira were not executed by 31 ministries, departments, and agencies within these years. So first of all, I mean, you talked about the fact that people have to go to the field and to monitor the activities and all. How do you relate with this? I know that the Auditor General's report is one of the instruments that you use, but sometimes the reports are so backdated. How does that help? What do you think we need to do to either speed up the production of the Auditor General's report? How do we handle this kind of issue?
Yes, I have read the Auditor General's report, and some of the challenges we have seen, we have been looking at them because I know that in April, because of the report, we have been following some of the infractions that are contained in the report. And I know that from April to date, we have been asking ministries and departments to submit us their own procurement plan, look at their budgets, and also we try to see that our team that are tracking projects to go and verify some of these allegations that are contained in the report. Because like I said, it's not easy for us, we are not many, to go all these places to verify these things at the same time. And that is why we collaborate with the civil society and the media and also members of the public that this kind of reports are out. People supposed to, those who are literate, supposed to look at it and try to see how they can help us. Yes, we are trying to do our work, but also we need people to help us in this. So we are looking at the report and also trying to look at where are the areas that we can come in and use our own enforcement powers, and also to move forward and try to see that we put preventive measures so that this kind of problem will not happen in future.
But, you know, your agency is not the only one that uses this instrument. For instance, we know that the Public Accounts Committee in the National Assembly also uses it. So what's the challenge? Do you smell, collusion that's likely to stave off your own activities in this regard? Because if the Public Accounts Committee is also there to make recommendations and ensure that the needful is done, block all leakages and all of that, is there a challenge in that collaboration? Is there something that needs to be beefed up? So we don't have to be talking about corruption in our country for a while.
Yeah, I think all those critical stakeholders, all of us, we are looking at some of these problems. And also we are in talking with all those that are supposed to be part of it. And recently, myself and the DG of BPP and the chairman of CCB, the NFIU, and even the EFCC are trying to come together to see how all of us can now work in a united front, so that wherever we have strengths, we will use it to try to see that all these challenges that are happening, we minimize them and we block this thing, because the challenge is too many, because we are having over 600 MDAs. And if you look at all of us, I don't think we are more than 10,000 or 12,000. So we have to come together, all of us, to see how can we talk as Nigerians, as those who are in the realm of anti-corruption, to see that we try to come united and to look at all these challenges and confront them head on, to see that we minimize them. That's what we have been doing as of now.
Through the former DG of the Budget Office, Ben Akabweze, he said, we have more than 1,400 ministries, departments, and agencies. And yes, you do have a point there. However, added to that is the question of the level of work you have to do when it comes to the subnationals as well. Does ICPC have influence in working, monitoring the finances and, activities or financial activities or corruption activities at the state level as well?
Yes, at the subnational level, when I come in as chairman of ICPC, I try to see that how can I look at the issues that are happening at subnational. Fortunately, I was Attorney General. So I feel the key individuals that we can fight this corruption are the chief law officers. I reached out to them. I had so many conversations with them individually and collectively. In September this year, we had a conference here in Abuja with 33 state attorney general in attendance, whereby we discussed around corruption at subnational level. And during that discussion we had, we invited Chief Kanu Godwin Agabi, the former Attorney General of the Federation, and also some former Attorneys General, that's those who serve in the civilian regime and also in the military. And my humble self, we sat down together, we discussed, because as a former Attorney General, I know what is happening at the state level, and I know the challenge, and I know what it is, because myself too, I had those challenges. I have seen how fighting corruption at state level is very, very difficult, because if you don't have the governor who has the political will to fight corruption, it will be very, very difficult for corruption to be fought at the state level. And that was why when I talked to my former colleagues, and I told them, look, we are Nigerians, and you are holding a sensitive positions. And there is no better person to lead in this fight against corruption than you people. Because the things that are happening at the state level, you don't need anybody to come and say that falsification of records by public servant is wrong. Leakages that are happening in some places are wrong. Because if you block these leakages, you will have enough resources to work. Unfortunately for us, we all agreed that we have to come together and work. And we agree that we need to go to zones. Last week, we were in Kano, where we had the same engagement with the 7 state attorneys general in Kano, whereby we discussed around corruption in that zone. And how can we come together and fight it?
So that my apologies for butting in. My sincere apologies for butting in, sir. Do you see the feasibility of ICPC set up at the state level, the way INEC has a state independent electoral commissions? Will it help? You see it happening?
We have state offices. We have offices in 21 states, where we have resident anti-corruption commissioners in 21 states of this country, whereby they have been working there together with civil society and also with other stakeholders to see that we fight this corruption. So it is really helping. But in my opinion, the most important thing for us to fight corruption is that it's not opening offices. Because if we can use technology, we can be able to trail and track money. Because the most difficult thing which we are facing is that the leakages of the money, the diversion, and now the money are in banks. It's not that they are being kept somewhere else. So if we can have robust technology to be able to track what is happening, it will reduce this problem of corruption. But if keeping open offices and employing people, in my opinion, it will not be the solution that we need to have a robust technology. Yes, having offices is good, but without technology, it will be difficult for you to fight corruption even at subnational level.
So just before we go, are you equally, you are also appealing to youths and women,
yes,
to play active role,
yes,
in this. Why that specific about it?
The reason why I have been appealing to youth is that they are the leaders of tomorrow. This year's anti-corruption.
It's the leaders of today.
No. I say youth are leaders of tomorrow, because some of them they will take over.
Yeah.
And you need to shape them today, so that when they are coming to lead this country, they will have the integrity to lead with fear of God and also to bring change. And because they have the energy, and they are the most vulnerable people that are victims of corruption, women and youth. Why? Because if you look at one problem which I notice is unemployment. Most of the victims of job racketeering are youth. Like I said somewhere else, we have been putting the data. We have noticed the trend. We have even identified specific agencies that every day there are some, I don't want to call the name of the agencies, there will never be a day that I will not receive at least 1 or 2 complaints that a staff of that agency has collected money to give employment to a youth, but they convert the money. Even yesterday, I think this week we secure conviction against one of the staff of one of the agencies. So, and for women, if you see how women are suffering, look at the issue of maternal mortality. That people are suffering because of the issue of health. They are the ones that are raising up the children. They are the ones that are taking care of the home. So all the challenges of corruption in this country, they are the more vulnerable people. So that is why I now try to mobilize them, that let us come together, fight this monster, because you are the ones that are more vulnerable. And for youth, you are the ones that have energy, you are the ones that know technology, social media is there, use it wisely, so that we can check this monster of corruption in this country.
Well, we have to thank you for coming on. Dr. Musa Adamu Ali, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and Chairman, ICPC, and former Attorney General for Jigawa. So thank you, and we wish you and your team all the best.
Thank you. Mape, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you for coming.
Business Morning comes up now.
Well, hello and welcome to another trading day right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Let's get to the top stories that set your agenda now. See, the markets are open, but starting with oil prices, they're up today with market participants expecting demand to rise in the world. Beijing announced a looser monetary policy to stimulate economic growth in China. We'll see the impact there in the market. Over about 0.5% rise there for Brent, $72.55 a barrel. WTI US crude there, not left out, same range there, 0.5% up, $68.95. That's a trade this morning. Let's get a check on the Naira now. It looks like the Naira is back again, gaining. That's for NFM, 1,525 Naira. That was a close for yesterday, 0.89%, almost 1%. So I guess we could say maybe this week might play out like the way we saw last week. And NAFEX, 1,547 Naira, 0.33% down. Flip side, yesterday it was NFM, that lost and NAFEX gained, but we're seeing a flip for the last trade yesterday. To other stories now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has denied claims of selling forex to BDC operators at 1,301 naira per dollar. In a post on X, the CBN clarified that the purported circular did not originate from the bank and describes it as misleading. The fake document alleged that $20,000 would be sold to each BDC at 1,301 naira per dollar, with a directive for BDCs to sell to end users at 1% margin. It also outlines payment procedures and listed specific CBN branches for disbursement. The CBN has labeled the information as false and misleading, emphasizing that on September the 6th, it approved FX sales to BDCs at a rate of 1,580 naira per dollar. And Nigeria has further strengthened its position in the global energy sector with the appointment of Mr. Ademola Adeyemi Bero, chairman of the OPEC Board of Governors. Before he was appointed, the chairman of the OPEC Board of Governors, Adeyemi Bero, was confirmed as Nigeria's OPEC governor for the year 2025. So a lot happening in that OPEC space at this time. All right, to other matters now. We see Nigeria, with its abundant sunshine, presents a significant opportunity for solar energy adoption. Right now, we're going to explore the current trend shaping Nigeria's solar energy industry, examining factors driving its growth and analyze the impact of innovative business models and government initiatives on its widespread adoption. Joining us for this conversation now, we have Mr. Ernest Akinlola, the Managing Director of B-Box Nigeria, joining me right here in the studio. It's great to have you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, so quite a lot happening, at this time. 2024 has been quite the year. We had PMS prices reach levels we've not seen before.
Yep.
We've seen Band A users struggling under heavy tariffs. And I remember there was a time, people would run their generators all night.
Yep.
If there was no power supply, but things have changed. Talk to me about the trends in the solar industry so far.
A lot. I think you talk about the trends that's happening. I've been in this business now for about 4 years, and I remember what it was like when we came in, when we launched B-Box in 2020. And, it was rather nascent and nobody really, the business was there, but it wasn't really exploding. But the PMS has been the challenges. So there's been a pull and a push, right? So the PMS has been very much, the PMS price is petrol. For those that don't know, the PMS, petrol prices have gone up over 300%, right? That's then created a pull for alternative energy sources. So solar has always been there as a solution, but then that's been a catalyst for people who wanted to find out. And then on the push side, there's been a lot more developers in the market, such as B-Box, and there's many others, pushing the narrative, understanding that there's a whole ecosystem here. And this is one of the earliest industries. It's almost like almost as untapped as insurance, right? Very low penetration. So there's a lot of space to cover in this industry.
Right, and I can imagine you did say solar has been around for the longest time, but I remember there was a time, a whole package, I was pitched about 400,000 naira to get panels, to get the inverter and all of that.
Yes.
But that is not the case right now. It's so expensive.
Okay.
Getting it. So at the end of the day, it's supposed to be the alternative, but it's getting that first installation and all of that.
You need to look when you talk about solar renewable energy.
Right.
There's different segments of the market, right? So if you're looking at more productive use or in larger homes, so where you buy in the KVA, like the solar inverters, right? Yes, they're more expensive, of course. They're actually more expensive than 400,000. But the payback,
no, I'm saying before.
Yeah, before.
Before that time, the naira was like maybe trading about 300.
Yeah, exactly.
To the dollar then.
Exactly. But despite that, what you have to do is you have to do a comparative to if you're running your gen all night, right? So the payback is quicker on solar. And actually, the offset is still better on the long term on solar, plus the environmental benefits, the lack of noise. So when you balance the two out, despite the increase in prices, it's still more effective going solar. And everybody's going through solar. I was talking to an architect who's got large development in Ikoyi, and he told me that he has gen, NEPA, his solar inverter. He's got many, many panels. And he said he's forgotten how to switch on his gen because he uses his solar. So, I mean, that's just the impact it's having. And there's other segments as well. There's a rural segment, which we are very strong in, but we're moving into other commerce and industry, productive use for MSMEs. It's very, very big, very, very important for driving our economy.
Right, and talking about, adoption, at the end of the day, when you have 133 million multidimensionally poor, talk to me about adoption with low-income earners.
Yeah, so, when you're talking about that part of the segment, you find that a lot of developers such as Bbox are focusing on the rural sectors. I mean, I always tell my friends and colleagues that all of us that live in Lagos, that we know each other, we're not really Nigerians. We're not the real Nigeria. If you want to go to the real Nigeria, go to Offa, go to Bomosho, go to the deep parts of Nigeria. And so what you're finding there is that we have agents that go into the markets. We sell to people selling pepper, tomatoes, artisans, and they're much more knowledgeable about it now. They will discuss with you about, is that a lithium battery or is it lead acid? We don't want lead acid. They understand. They can converse with us. They're knowledgeable. They've done their research. They bring out their calculators. They calculate whether they're going to pay over 6 months, 12 months, or upfront, because we offer those sort of pay as you go. So all of this is driving more awareness and adoption. Right. And of course, one of the big factors is somebody sets up a TV. So we sell packages, right? So we sell the inverter, the panels, as well as the appliances. So there's an element of social mobility, so TVs or fans. So somebody then says, oh, wow, you've got this in your home. It then becomes an automatic referral engine for others. So there's a real wave behind this.
Right. All right, talk to me about, technology now, how much it's playing, in this industry. I was watching a documentary a couple of days ago, and some scientists have found a way to use diamonds to make batteries. And I'm like, oh, that's quite interesting. But, if they're using diamonds to make batteries, that means, and we know what they say about diamonds. Diamonds are forever. That means there's batteries. So talk to me about technological advancements.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know about the diamond side, but I know that there's something about, there's a narrative being pushed around magnets. So these opposite magnets are having it, and then it creates energy, but that's a different slide. But in terms of how technology is driving adoption in Nigeria, we look at it from a point of view of customer enablement. How do we make it easier for customers to adopt solar and to pay for their solar in a seamless way? So, for instance, at Bbox, we've developed with some banks seamless virtual wallets so that a customer who might not be on our bank can make payments from their bank or from their phone directly to their account, right? So that's one key thing for them. The other one is, and so technology enables that. In the early days, agents had to go and collect money from the customers. And there's all sorts of issues that come with agents collecting money, right? So there's that dimension. There's also the dimension of when you buy something and you're using your solar, you have to make your payment. You're given a certain amount of what we call light-in time, right? Because you're on pay-go. If you don't pay, you then get switched off. So customers like to know, when is my balance dropping? So that balance check, that notification, again, it's low-level technology, but it's very important. Not everybody has AI. If you talk about the 130 million population, they don't know about AI. They don't know about all these apps, right? So you have to dimension your technology to your segment, right? So that's enabling it. And then finally, you have our agents who have the apps. They have our agent apps, and that enables them to understand when they need to intervene with customers. So the combination of all of that, I mean, there's no silver bullet here, but the combination effect is driving increased adoption, because nobody wants to buy something and be hassled having to pay for it. They want it to be seamless.
Right.
Yeah.
And, these days, we've seen people, try to, find ways to handle, high tariffs and all of that. bypassing, which is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
We know that's that's big. So I believe solar is, helping, with that. But talk to me about investments now in the sector.
Yeah.
How would you describe investments in, say, 2024? Do we see more investors, piling cash into the industry?
Yeah. Okay. So 2024, 2023, 24. has been a very challenging year. We've had the FX challenge. I saw you just mentioned about if only it was 1,000, if only it was 1,300. Yeah, comeback. Yeah, but so that's been a challenge. So, but for our industry, one of the key catalysts, if you like, is subsidy funding from like the World Bank and the Rural Electrification Agency, and their impact has been mammoth. I mean, it's been seismic in terms of helping. The industry would have existed, it would have been growing at a very slow, unpredictable pace, but they've been a real catalyst for that. So because of that, we're seeing a lot of interest in investing in Nigeria in the solar and renewable energy space. Now, there's different segments. You've got solar home systems, which is the rural community that I mentioned. You have productive use, I mentioned before about MSMEs. Then you also have C&I, commerce and industry. So you've got large, we know petrol stations are getting their forecourts covered in solar panels, right? So there's a lot of commercial investment, factories that are converting to solar. They can never go 100% solar, but it's all about offset, right? So there are growing opportunities and there are grants available for each of those segments. That's encouraging more investment in Nigeria.
And, looking at most of these panels, most of these items are imported. And we've seen the impact on, volatility with the currency, how that drives up, the prices of most of it. So what are we seeing when it comes to manufacturing here?
Okay,
panels and all of that.
This is a very, very good point. And we talk about it a lot, me and my colleagues and other CEOs, and we talk about manufacturing, even on RIAN, the Rural Renewable Energy Association of Nigeria, which we're a part of, encourage manufacturing. So there are elements of manufacturing in Nigeria, mainly around the accessories and the panels. Right, so the panels are probably the key thing. I mean, I'm very glad that you're showing that on the screen here. The panels are the eye of the sun. This is what brings in the sun. And, importing them is very expensive, right? We have to pay high duties. We've lobbied to get lower taxes on those and lower duties on them. But the way around that is and that's happening in Nigeria. It's nascent. There are certain companies that are focusing on that. We've already started having those conversations with them. But the key thing to identify is the units are very high spec and the panels have to be properly dimensioned to the units. So if something's a 480 watt panel, it must be that, right? So we're getting there, and I think that's going to be a real accelerant to accepting solar.
All right, so going into 2025, what are you seeing for this industry?
Oh, well, I'm extremely excited about 2025, right? Particularly for Nigeria, because there's a new grant starting. In fact, next week in Abuja, we're going to have a second kickoff roundtable meeting with the World Bank and Rural Electrification Agency. There's $750 million earmarked for solar energy in Nigeria across the different segments that I've mentioned. And we can't wait to get started. Right, so I see 2025 a year of improved installations, also focusing on more of the rural hinterlands, the hard to get to places. The whole program is dimensioned to give a higher subsidy the further out you go. So the more, if you like, urbanized you are, the less subsidy you get. So it's dimensioned that way to enhance, the 133 million really being touched. Right.
We're trying to save that. We're trying to reduce that.
Exactly.
Number.
We need to crunch it down.
Crunch it down as much as we can. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So that's 2025 is a great year.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it. It was great having you, Mr. Ernest.
Thank you very much.
Akinlola is the Managing Director of B-Box Nigeria.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming on today.
Bye.
All right, we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, more conversations about not renewables at this time, more of the dirty alternatives. That's in a moment. To stay with us. Welcome back. Well, the Group Managing Director and CEO of Matrix Energy Group, Mr. Abdul Kader Adisa, has identified 3 derivatives from the policy of government to remove subsidy on PMS. Mr. Adisa spoke to Channels TV exclusively, says the decision by President Bola Tinubu has helped to stabilize the downstream sector and has ensured the full implementation of the petroleum industry law. He had the conversation with energy correspondent Olu Phillips, but you can get the full interview of Channel's YouTube handle. Take a listen.
The industry that you know today in Nigeria, 2024, under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, just a little over a year, what would you say if you look very critically at the changes or the outplays of the industry in the last 1 year? What are the 3 most critical things that stand out for you for the industry, whether be it at the upstream level or at the downstream as regards energy security and energy sufficiency?
Thank you. In the last 1 year, I think, let me put it back, the beginning of this administration, the first thing Mr. President did was to announce subsidy removal. And this is the best thing that has happened to the industry. Myself, I was a banker, and 20 years ago, precisely 20 and a half years ago, I took a step as a banker then that what would the industry be? The then administration, the president, former president Olusegun Obasanjo made effort to remove subsidy and also to open the market. And what does that mean? To open the market for private sectors to come in and replace the public sector. You know, most of the major marketers then, they all belongs to government, and it was under his administration that government divested from the so-called AP, the so-called national oil and all the rest. And this is why I came into the industry. I left banking as a corporate finance person, as a corporate banker, and where the 3 banks I worked, I was in the oil and gas sector. And why I left is because I saw that there's a huge opportunity for us to come in and take over the public sector. And today, that promise has become a reality. So the first thing the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did is to remove subsidy. This is the best thing that has happened to this country. And this is a step that ordinarily these are things that no president will ever do it, except maybe IMF or World Bank or all these multilateral lending agencies will force them to do it. And he did it. We thank God that it's turning out to be a blessing for the country. And the second thing I will also talk about is that the president also ensured that PIA that was passed into law is being fully implemented. And today you can see that for the first time, you see that the production has gone up to a level that is even above what OPEC is asking us to produce. And the third thing I can also see, this is the first time that in a long time that we're in November, that there's no panic buying in the country. The product is readily available. And this is the first time you also see that the price of petroleum product is actually going down as against going up. Most especially that the fear that people have that when subsidy is removed, that the price will go to a level that people will not be able to afford. And I think these 3 things have reshaped the industry. And you can see that there's a lot of stability now, and people confidence level is high. Nobody is rushing to the station to do panic buying. And I think this is something that it is due to the kind of leaders that we have, that they know how to implement what they feel is good for the country and is good for the we that are in the private sector, and also that what is good for the economy in general.
Knowledge base wise, in terms of understanding the industry, having covered it in a bit. I may sit here and agree with you on some of the sectoral reforms, but that does not also suffice the same thinking and manifestations out there in public. And we also speak very strongly for the public with what we do as journalists. Whilst you say that this is a brilliant decision that has been taken by the government, I know you must have seen it from two angles: political will, political decisions, and also what exactly is important for, needful for the industry. But that's not, I think, exactly what the public is saying. When you say subsidy removal is good, when subsidy was removed, fuel was about the price of 100 and something naira to the liter. Today is over 8,000 and some fractions. Where's the goodness for someone who does not understand the metrics and system operations of some of the things that has happened? Isn't that a blunted decision that appears not to have taken into consideration people's welfare?
So if you ask so many people now, I don't think a lot of people remember they were buying fuel for 100 or 200 or 300 naira. The most important, there are two critical things. You know, when you have a country, that is when you talk of the people. And if you are from Sudan or you are from some other countries, then you feel what we are talking about. The most important thing is for us to ensure that there is stability in our economy. When there's no stability, then you don't talk of the people. You know that government, they've been throwing all their resources to fill in the gap of subsidy. Subsidy is not good for anyone. Nigerians are hardworking people. Nigerians don't really need subsidy. What Nigeria wants is sustainability. Nigeria wants something that will prosper their economy. We are hardworking people, and we are also proud people. It is not in our culture, or it is not in us for us to beg. Nigerians prefer them to see what they can buy. And subsidy comes with a lot of challenges. Even anybody you ask on the street, they will tell you they don't want subsidy. Yes, what people want is they should be able to get the product at an affordable price. And I think this is what you have seen. And the most important thing is that we need infrastructure more than subsidy. If you look at the population, or if you look at the numbers of vehicles on the street and our population of 200 million people, I have many cars. Do I really need subsidy? No. You have many cars. At least you will have 2 cars. Do you really need subsidy? No. The people that actually need the subsidy, they don't even have vehicles. And government is subsidizing. It shouldn't be. The kind of cars we ride, do we need to buy fuel at a subsidized rate? The most important thing is that you can see that the government debt is going down. If you listen to some of your journalists, some of the pressmen, last year, maybe 2 years ago, they were all saying the resources of government, 98% or 99% of it are going into debt servicing. But now, the last time I checked is about 55-60%. And I think this is what we should think about. Of course, the subsidy is not sustainable. Government cannot afford it. What government is doing is to pile up debts, keep borrowing in order to keep subsidy. Paying subsidy of 7 trillion is not sustainable.
And that was our energy correspondent there, Olu Phillips, with an exclusive interview with the Group Managing Director and CEO Matrix Energy Group, Mr. Abdul Kadir Adisa. You can catch the whole thing on our YouTube channel. Just flip over to YouTube, check for Channels Television, click on our videos, and you can watch that full interview. Well, the markets are trading on right now. Yesterday, we got that green close. Yeah, we know it's the market has been going. Starts negative, then ends up in the green, 0.10%, up 98,206 points. That was close for yesterday. Let's look at the trading activity, see the investor sentiment there. So it was kind of subdued, looking at value and deals, but had more volume compared to the previous trade. 115.44% up, 939 million units traded. Let's look at sectoral performance. Most of the that's banking. Again, banking down, insurance in the green. That's been the trend these days. We see financial services playing in different quarters there. But insurance has been quite bullish, 1.98% for the close yesterday. Industrial goods down about 0.84% to close. Consumer goods, 0.17%. Oil and gas, a big 1.64% uptick. For the top trades, we see WAPIC, that's 457 million units traded. That topped the trade by volume. Sterling NG 138.43 million. Has Japol Gold there on that counter, 30.35 million. So the markets are open now. I will give you a sense of what to expect intraday. That's on Business Incorporated at 1 p.m. and other global markets that we track. Thank you so much for watching. That's it from me on Business Morning. I hand things over to the Sunrise Daily team.
The ceremonial courtroom of the Court of Appeal is filled to capacity for the annual conference for Justices of the Court of Appeal. The ceremony brings together justices of the Appellate Court, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, retired Chief Justices, some ministers, and senior advocates of Nigeria. The Chief Justice of Nigeria tasked the judicial officers to change the dwindling perception of the judiciary.
There is a growing negative perception of the judiciary. We must all individually and collectively work towards changing this negative perception. We look into genuine complaints. We will also stand to support our judges and justices to make sure that where frivolous allegations are made, that there are consequences.
The conference provides a platform for introspection, knowledge sharing, and strategic planning amongst judges, especially amidst allegation of corruption within the justice system.
Justices occupy a position of paramount importance in the administration of justice, and with their decisions exerting a profound impact on individuals, communities, and society at large. Nevertheless, despite our expertise and experience, we are not immune to the limitations inherent in human decision-making, including errors, biases, and prejudices.
Allegations are first made in the social media to the world at large, before complainants think fit, if at all, to refer matters to the National Judicial Council. The public and the press pass judgment on these allegations, and all that the complainants appear to require from the National Judicial Council is to rubber stamp those conclusions and punish the judges.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, emphasized the constitutional separation of powers, highlighting the challenges facing judicial independence.
My lords, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we must acknowledge, and I do, that challenges to judicial independence persist. These challenges can come from various or multifaceted sources, including but not limited to political interference, public opinion especially perpetrated on social media, and even well-intentioned efforts to improve the justice system. It is, however, imperative that we remain vigilant and steadfast in our defense of judicial independence.
The conference is an avenue for judicial officers to deliberate on issues affecting the justice system and prefer solutions as the court gears towards the 2024-2025 legal year.
Well, yes, indeed. Mr. Myson Nejo joins us here. He is a human rights activist and also a legal practitioner. Good morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Good morning for having me.
A lot of focus on the judiciary, and many will say rightly so, because we need to ensure that at least every arm of government is, at least they have some sort of checks and balance to ensure that society works and democracy also works. Well, lately, there's been that conversation as to ensuring that the judiciary, at least forthright, you don't get to hear complaints and arguments, some of the things that they have raised there. So do you think that the concerns they have there, are they valid?
Yes, I would say they are valid. Because when you look at the society generally, when I was small, when I was in the secondary school, what I know is that judiciary is the last hope of man. But today, as we are talking presently now, judiciary is the last hope of rich man.
Now, why did you say so?
In our society. When you look at most of the cases going to court, when last have you heard that, okay, maybe there's a rich man and a poor man went to court and the poor man defeated the rich man? Because the system were not so okay.
You're speaking, because this is your profession.
Yes, this is my profession.
You're speaking from what you know?
I'm speaking from what I know. When you have a good case in court, the matter will be adjourned. Will be adjourned every day when you go to court. Sometimes I tell you that, oh, my Lord is not sitting and not this thing. I have cases like that.
And they are adjourned like that?
The adjournment upon adjournment.
Are there no valid legal reasons or?
There's no legal reason. Just adjournment. At the time, I have to confront my Lord that this matter has been adjourned like 7 times. Just for adoption, just for me to adopt my paper. And for my Lord to give judgment. The matter has been adjourned upon adjournment.
So were other cases being heard? Why was yours being adjourned?
Yes.
Are they too busy?
Yes, they are. The funny thing is that you discover that there are some cases that they will file in court. You'll be surprised. Why did they file this case? And immediately the matter will be assigned. But some cases you file a matter. The matter will not be assigned for a month in court. Fundamental human rights that are supposed not to take more than 2 months, 3 months. But it will just be there. But if it is cases that relate to the popular people in the society, that relates to, you see, immediately the matter will be assigned.
Is that to suggest that the alleged defamation case against Mr. Farutimi might suffer the same fate or something?
What are you? In fact, I'm so surprised. The matter, the Farutimi was arraigned before a magistrate court. Ordinarily, he is supposed to be granted bail, even though without having a lawyer. Look at what is playing on. He's still in detention as we are talking about now. What is happening?
But they granted him 50 million naira bail.
That is another court. That is the Federal High Court.
Yeah.
He was arraigned in Federal High Court and was granted bail. But the magistrate refused. The first one, the magistrate refused to grant him bail.
And you say that is a very easly bailable offense.
It's a bailable,
without a lawyer.
It's a bailable offense without a lawyer. It's something the magistrate will just grant him bail. It's a bailable offense. Defamation is a bailable offense. Moreover, the court handling the matter does not have jurisdiction.
That's the magistrate?
The magistrate handling the matter does not have jurisdiction. The man refused, they refused to bail him.
So in these kind of cases, at what point does the corrective measure in the judiciary kick in for these kind of things to stop happening?
I have been thinking, well, you know, in our system, there's what we call precedent.
Yeah.
And that is what we lawyers, this is what we follow. And when there's a pronouncement from the apex court, from the Supreme Court, that automatically become a law. But today in our system, you discover that the same matter that Supreme Court have make a pronouncement on, if you should take the kind of matter to lower court, they will say another thing differently. They will not follow the precedent. The law laid by the Supreme Court, and nothing is being done. If you file a case, Supreme Court have said in some cases that you have low-cost rights to file a case. All these lower court, they will just look at the case that you don't have low cost, and you back it with a Supreme Court cases that this is what the Supreme Court said in this is okay case. Filing this case, I have low cost to do that. Nothing will happen. They will just give. So there's no discipline that, okay, if you do not follow Supreme Court judgment, there should be also discipline. So a lot of things are happening like that.
But you paint a picture of seeming lawlessness and things just happening, like that. But I thought that the NJC also investigates some of these matters and they dismiss judges for not conducting themselves properly.
Nobody is ready to be writing petitions. Sometimes when you write petitions against judges in this country, if you apply to become a signed comprehension, nobody will attend to you. Because they will see you as a petitioner. So sometimes lawyers do careful, they don't want to report any judge to NJC, because if you report, it's going to be an issue.
So it's also such that NJC, do we need to do something so that they can look into a particular matter without somebody writing a petition?
That is it. I was expecting that this, for example, the ICPC chairman that just left the studio talks about technology.
Yeah.
I expect the NJC to also have technology to view what is happening in court, to know what is going on in court, so that they too can monitor. It's not until somebody writes a petition to NJC before they carry out their investigation.
That's going to be a lot. How many courts would they be able to view?
Well, I said technology. It's possible. It's doable. It's something they can do. It's something that is easy they can do to monitor those courts that, okay, this is what is happening. And I thank God I know the president of NBA now is going to perform well.
But, people listening to you will suddenly feel hopeless to some extent, thinking that, look, if I can't get it from Judiciary, where can I get it?
As a lawyer, I'm talking to you, sometimes I will just look at what kind of system is this? Wow. What kind of system is this? I want to say this to you. Young lawyer, before you can get a case now, they want to know you. Who are you in the society? Do you know somebody that knows somebody?
Who wants to know you?
They want to know you. Client want to know you. That who is this lawyer? They can't just come and give you case.
So it doesn't rely on your knowledge and expertise. You have to have some external leverage.
Yes, they want to know that who is this person? Before we can take a case to this person.
Oh dear.
Who is this person? Can this person deliver and all this? These are the things that some young lawyers are suffering nothing because they don't believe in us, though, that we can also perform very well because of the situation of what is going on in our system. Wow. And I believe, like the CGS said, that if anybody has a genuine grievance, it should come up. And I believe also that it's good to. There are good judges. There are good judges when you go to court by 9 o'clock, they're already sitting. Good judges, perfectly, doing well. But you will see them sometime. It is very few that you see them. In fact, the system is not even rewarding them.
The good judges.
The good judges, those are doing good. Those are doing good. The system is not rewarding them. There are a lot of judges that, yes, if you appear before you know, they don't take nonsense.
Are they not in the majority?
I can't say they are in the majority, my brother.
Oh, dear. Ayo.
Thank you, Chamberlain. You know, the issues that you're raising, you know, it's... and I'm going to reiterate the question that Chamberlain asked you when he said, look, are you sure you are not in any way, number one, poo-pooing and consequently denigrating the judiciary, and also instilling the fear in people that they are never going to get justice, and consequently, they may begin to take the law into their own hands?
I'm not saying that people should not go to court. I'm just expressing what is happening in the system. Not that I said that people should not go to court. And like I said there are good judges when you appear before them. I just said it here now. It's not all, you know, there are good ones, and when you go to them, two cases, you'll be very... So, I didn't say people should not go. If you are lucky and you go to court and you met the... I'm saying my experience, I'm saying my frustration in the system. I'm talking about myself. The frustration I'm also facing. So it's not that... I'm not talking that people should not go to... as a lawyer, I'm also talking about my frustration in the system. When you go to court and the matter will be adjourning for, you know, so it's not a good one. So what about if somebody that don't have money asks you to go to a court, give you a case, and you'll be telling the person that today the matter will be adjourned, tomorrow the matter, and the person will be paying you appearance fee to go to court. You'll be, you know. So I'm talking, it's not that I say people should not go to court and, you know, they say people should take law into their hand. So I'm just saying that the system, we need to work on the system. So we need to improve on the system. That's what I'm saying.
So if the CJN is calling for the improvement of the image of the judiciary, and you, a practitioner in this industry, is making this claim, how then can the image of the judiciary be cleaned?
We are still saying the same thing. At least I'm supporting the CGN. I'm supporting him that he said. So
I'm asking you now directly. I'm asking you what needs to be done, because there are a number of other practitioners in the industry, just as yourself, who are saying the same thing. Incidentally, it is members of the judiciary, practitioners in the judiciary, such as yourself, who would go to court and ask, in some cases, for some of these postponements, just as you said, adjournments and upon adjournments. Some will go to court and they will not do the needful. Practitioners such as yourself will go to court, will not do the things that they need to do, and of course the judge would be compelled to adjourn. So how then will things improve if it's the same practitioners that are responsible for what is wrong?
Mr. Ayo, I did a case in Lagos, a land case, and I want to tell you that within 2 years, I finished the case. The judge didn't take nonsense. It was not if you get, he would tell you, this is what I want in my court. You can't come and be asking for adjournment. I finished the case within 2 years. In Lagos, a land case, land matter. So the judge doesn't take nonsense. He will tell you that, no, this is where I'm going. I don't have time for this nonsense. I don't have to be, you are the manager, you are the one to control your court. Not somebody will just come and be asking for adjournment and be giving adjournment.
So
when will the case finish?
So what exactly are you saying by saying that sometimes these issues, these adjournments, are a problem with the judge or a problem with the lawyer?
It depends on how the judge and the lawyers manage their case. It depends on them.
Okay.
It depends on how they manage their case.
Now, apart from that issue, this issue that we are talking about now, what other issues do you think the CJN should pay attention to? Because there are those who have also come out just as you and talking about the way judges are appointed, how they come into office and all of that. Do you have any issues with that?
When a judge is appointed into office, and the next thing is to organize a party, when different people will come and dine, eat, and drink with them. So, what are we expecting? When I was small, where I was living, where judges were living, it's very far. You see their house inside bush. Their house will be inside bush. They don't work in the afternoon. You won't even see them. To play with their children in school is a problem. I will be looking at them. I'll tell my dad, I want to be a lawyer. Say, that is that judge. Look at the house there. Inside bush, their police will be there. It is in the night you see judge. If they want to maybe do exercise, they'll be going. Their police will be following them. But these days, it's not like that. When a judge is appointed, the next thing is to organize a party. Then all of us are drinking, dining, whining. So those are the issues.
So do you see a role for, bodies that govern the judiciary, like the body of benchers, the National Judicial Council, the NBA?
Can you come again?
I said, do you see a role for bodies that govern the activities of judicial practitioners, like the NJC, the body of benchers, and the NBA?
Well, their role is to, all these things is not to them. They are aware of all this. It's not a strange thing to them, what people are doing, especially like what I just said now. So it's now left for them to make sure that the judiciary is perfect, and when people see it, they know that, oh, this institution is perfect, it's a serious institution. It's not that we should just come on here and say, oh, the judiciary is not corrupt, the judiciary is not doing this and do that. We should let us see it in us that truly we are not corrupt. Where somebody will file a case and the case will be in court, it will not be assigned. Another person will go and file a case. Immediately the matter will be assigned. So
all right.
You see that the thing is not balanced.
So when you say that the bodies know, these bodies, the NBA, the NJC, the body of benchers, they know these things, and you're saying that they know and they are allowing the rot to continue, is that what you're saying?
No, they are trying their best. Like I said, that they are good judges. They are trying their best, but sometimes I still want to believe that they should still try more, still do something.
What can be done? What can be done? That's the question I'm asking. What can be done, Mr. Neyo?
Okay, the first thing I think the agency should focus on now is that in law, there's what we call precedent. The lower courts now, they don't follow the precedent. That is why you see today, this order, they'll just give another in Owerri, another order in Abuja, the same matter, everything. So they don't follow the precedent anymore. There's nothing like precedent. If you want to read law, if you want to enjoy law, go and read the account there shows Okuta and all these things. Read their law reports. Look at what they But today nobody's talking about those precedents anymore. This one will just court judicial will just give the same judgment, the same, and they will not even follow the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court does not say anything. When the Supreme Court said this, when I was in school, that's what I was taught, that no, judiciary and the Supreme Court is the last, and any pronouncement made by the Supreme Court, it becomes a law automatically. But today, there's nothing. You just discover that the same judgment, the lower court will just write another thing, and nothing is done. You don't need to report this to NJC before they will take action. You don't need to. They are reading it, they are hearing it every day. How would the Supreme Court said this is the road, and the High Court will now say no. The same matter, the same subject, they will now go another say the person should appeal. Is it the person should appeal or the agency should immediately ask the judge, why did you do this?
We see it in political cases these days. But as a matter of fact, let's even go to politics. You contested for Ondo governorship elections. I know you must have heard people ask, what were you thinking? What made you go in there?
It's because I want a change in Ondo State, and I believe I can deliver the change that the people of Ondo State.
But you were third. Was that because you took advantage of Labour parties shaking neither here nor there, and you snuck in, or what?
No, not at all. I'm a popular person in Ondo State. When you mention my son, I'm a popular person, so it's not that When you look at the figure I had during the election, I didn't pay kobo. I didn't spend.
You didn't use revenue from your legal profession, or how did you get money to contest?
I didn't pay. I didn't buy votes.
Oh.
I didn't buy votes. The little money I gathered during project was what I was using to campaign on the media and all this. So I didn't have big money. And
do you consider that a waste of money now?
It's not a waste, because I discovered that the people of Ondo State want a change. If I had 4,000 plus votes, that I did not pay 1 naira, I believe that one day it will change. That people will say, no, we are going to vote for this person, we are not going to collect kobo. So it's not waste. I didn't waste money. I believe it's not a waste.
Will you do it again?
Yes.
How long will you keep trying?
There's a precedent, like I said. The former president, you know how long it was, but one day, it was there.
So now you've extended that to political precedents.
Yes, a political precedent.
Okay. Well, to thank you for coming on. My son Nejo, a human rights active advocate and also a legal practitioner. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
All right, I think that wraps it up. Well, some messages though. Well, I think it's just about time. But Pastor Alpha Cross, we see your message. We thank you. Professor Imana, thank you as well for your message. We'll see. Okay. Okay, I see this one from Pastor. Okay, let's read it as well. He says, as far as money still plays the most important role in Nigerian brand of politics, our leaders will continue to be corrupt, so they'll be able to gather enough to buy over all critical institutions. Our leadership recruitment needs appraisal.
Well, Professor Enakena also sent in a message, and that's it right there. The evidential struggle against corruption in Nigeria's political sphere and public service, often hindered by limited political will, inadequate structures, a weak judicial system, and prevailing corruption. Corruption has spread to virtually all spheres of our society, including the civil service, public service, private sector, and civil society. Oh gosh. Systemic corruption is an intrinsic yet complex crime that has the ability to resist some of the toughest measures that may be deployed against it. Surprisingly, the frequency of bribery is on average. I don't understand that one, but hey, make of it what you will.
Well, I guess keep on going, we must.
Absolutely.
That wraps it up today on the program. We do thank you all for watching. Don't worry, Marco will be back tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Osok. Goodbye.
And I'm Ayo Makinde. Have a beautiful and fruitful day.